welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I'm going to be talking about a few hyped books that I just won't be reading. Earlier in the year I did a video like this and I would like to continue doing them, and it's generally just born from a lot of hyped books that I see a lot of people hauling, putting on their TBRs, sometimes enjoying, and they just don't speak to me, you know. I'm not saying that they're bad books. Some of them are good books and I know that they are. I just don't really think they're for me and I won't be going out of my way to read them. Now, a couple of these, there is an exception, and the exception is if I see them in my library, because I don't often see a lot of young adult books that I see on BookTube in my library, so when I do see them, I do tend to pick them up because it gives me an opportunity to read hyped books that other people are talking about that I otherwise would not have access to, because I don't want to go out of my way and spend my money to read them. Just a disclaimer, I don't think these are bad books. I'm not trashing them. I'm not trashing your reading taste or any authors. Just from the synopsis and a few reviews that I've heard, they're just not for me and I won't be picking them up. So the first one is an adult literary fiction, and that is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I'm not entirely sure what this one is about, but I do know that it is a slice of life book, which are just not really my thing. I read a lot of fantasy, and that is because reading for me is a lot of escapism. I do like some contemporary that deals with darker topics because that like excites me, and I've noticed that I do like American contemporary because, like, for example, your schooling system is a lot different from the schooling system we have in the UK, so that's different enough from my own life that I'm interested. But general slice of life that deals with adults who have problems like cheating husbands and divorces and mortgages, they just don't resonate with me. I can't relate to them and they're a little bit too real, and that I just find them boring. I have heard a few other people say that it is just kind of slice of life and it's not very exciting, and so for that reason I will not be picking up this book. The next one has been hyped up a lot recently because there is a movie adaptation, and that is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. What I know about this is that it is about a woman who is engaged to this guy, and so he takes her to meet his family and they turn out to be like insanely rich. I don't want to read this one because, again, it's like an adult contemporary kind of style. I've also heard that the book isn't as good as the movie. I will probably watch the movie. Once again, I'm not going to go out of my way for it, but if it comes on Netflix or something, then I will probably watch it because I've heard the movie is really entertaining. But the book just does not speak to me. It's not something I'm particularly interested in, and I've heard that it's not all that great. The next book that's hyped that I won't be reading is by Stephen King, and I don't think that the book is necessarily hyped, but Stephen King is definitely very hyped, a very well-known and prestigious author. I do want to read Stephen King's books. I want to read them ideally in publication order, but I know for a fact that I will be skipping this one and I will not read it. Like, I can tell you 100% I will not read this book, and that is Kujo by Stephen King. This follows a rabid Saint Bernard, and I am not triggered by things in books, but I am triggered by animals. Like, you just don't hurt the animals, okay? I know for a fact that I will not be able to read a book about a rabid animal, especially because I've heard from, I think Natasha from My Reading Is Odd read this recently, and that's when I decided, like, no, this one is just not for me. And you identify with the dog, you sympathize with the dog because it's not his fault that he's rabid. I just can't, I can't deal with that. I'm not, when it comes to animals, I'm just not emotionally equipped to handle it. Like, if it was people, if it was rabid people, I would be down, but rabid dogs, can't do it. Now the next two are like the real ones. And I know I'm gonna hurt a lot of people by saying these because I know that some people live for these books. So the first one is the Study in Charlotte series by Brittany Cavallaro. I'm sorry, Rocky. I'm really sorry. I am not a fan of Sherlock Holmes. For a start, I haven't watched Sherlock. I watched one of the Sherlock Holmes movies. Is there a show called Watson as well? I haven't watched that. I watched the very old Hound of the Baskervilles when I was a kid. I don't like mystery stories, like crime mystery. They're just not my particular taste. I grew up on British crime dramas. My mum pretty much exclusively read crime series, like serialized crime novels, and I just really don't like them. The closest I can get to one is watching CSI, and even then I get pretty bored pretty quickly. So that's one of the reasons I don't want to read this. Another one is that I've heard it's kind of okay. It's a YA Sherlock Holmes retelling type mystery novel. Apart from Rocky, I haven't heard any super glowing reviews that make me really want to read it, and just the premise that I'm not interested in at all, combined with the relatively mixed reviews, and just not bothered. And the last one is one that a subscriber of mine recently recommended to me after I'd already made my mind up and said that I didn't want to read it. And this is the one that I thought, I really don't want to read that book, and it's what inspired me doing another round of this video, and that is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerri Maniscalco. There are a couple of reasons I don't want to read this. The first one is that it's historical fiction. I generally don't like historical fiction. When I did the first round of this video, there was a book that I put on there pretty much because I don't like historical fiction. I've heard that it's not as focused on Stalking Jack the Ripper as the title leads you to believe. The second one is something to do with Dracula, and the third one is Houdini. All historical fiction, like romance is in there. Young adult, just don't want to read it, you know? Like, it's not, the premise I just don't care about the premise. So that is everything for this video. I hope I haven't offended anybody too much. Please let me know if there are any really hyped books that you won't be reading, even if it's Sarah J Maas, because I know a lot of you don't like Sarah J Maas, although if you're subscribed to my channel then you probably do. Otherwise you would probably hate me if you don't like Sarah J Maas. That's it for this video. Please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body water and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.